Hey Colby, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Hey Louie, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. How's school going? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask right when you took a bite.
Perfect timing. Bus issues aside, it's been great.
That seems to be the common response from everybody.
Yep.
And it's getting better, so hopefully it'll just continue to smooth out.
Yeah, it's moving in the right direction.
Hi, everyone.
Hey Jenny, how's it going?
Okay. Did you see my email, Denise, about the sign? The sign for the vendors. Yeah, I'm just not
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, my apologies, I didn't get back to you. So Kathleen is in and out of the office, so I'm trying to wait to get her opinion on some stuff, but I did update that with your initial edit sort of before you added the dairy bar truck with the bowls.
Yeah.
So I'll send you right now what it looks like. So you can, I mean, I'm inclined, I think, to keep it as just items, but I'll let me send you
Okay.
that right now.
Yeah, that items is fine. Yeah.
Hey Andrea, how are you?
Good, thank you. I just came in a little late. Well, actually, I see it's 4:59. I had a call from Middlesex Hospital, but they hung up before I could pick up. And being that my son's going to CCMC, I was like in parent, I'm calling all the numbers. Nobody knows anything. That they put me through to ER. They're not checked. They said there was no, nothing, nobody admitted with his name, and I keep trying to reach him. So that's why I'm a little frazzled right now.
All right, well, hopefully everything's okay. If you need to leave at any point, no worries. Family
Yep,
is more
no,
important than a
I'll
meeting.
just, any message that comes in on my phone, I'll just be checking, so.
Okay.
But I did see your email quick just now when I signed on. So on Thursday, if you want to meet in person, I can do it like right after school, which would be between like 4:30, or if you wanted to do it again online, then 5 o'clock is good, because that gives me time to get home.
Yeah, which would you rather stop here or go home and take a minute and then check
Yeah,
in?
no, that's fine. If I can come right there to you, that's perfect for me.
Yeah, let's do that. So let's plan on so this Thursday, and basically we'll just go over the same stuff that the rest of the team will talk through next week.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, no problem. Hey Emily, how's it going?
Good. How are you all?
Good.
Do you think we're waiting on anyone else?
Yes, I think Sarah will be here. So
Awesome.
I'd say let's
Give
hold
them
off a
one.
moment or two.
Oh, and actually, I can ask you, Denise. I was able to deliver all of those posters except the small brochures to the Coventry Visitor Center. I drove by twice. It wasn't open. I didn't see any hours listed. There aren't any hours listed online. And when I call, I just get a busy signal. So do you know if that's even still operating?
Yeah, I actually really don't know. We added that one on new this year, so no worries. So I don't put any more time into it. It's
Okay,
and when you stop in Thursday, if you don't mind bringing those, we'll just put them with the extras.
perfect. So all the others got delivered. You're all set there.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That is a huge help.
Well, it was even funny because when I went to the Bolton Library, I go in and the women were very sweet. And the one says, "Oh, Mansfield, yeah, I'm mad at you guys right now." And I'm looking at her, I'm like, okay. And she said, "Oh, my grandson goes, or I think her grandchildren go to the school, and you and the buses, and they've been late." And I was like doing this whole explanation that no, it's not really the school, it's the transportation system. And then she's like, "Well, they were on the bus for over 2 hours." I'm like, "No, they're actually staying at school till the buses come. Yes, they're late, but they're not on a bus for that long." I'm like, "Oh boy, even in Bolton, I have to explain ourselves."
I'm so sorry. I feel like once everything gets worked out with the buses, I think everyone will be able to let it go pretty quickly. But I know it's a lot of chaos. So I know, yeah, it's
Yes.
sort of on everybody's minds.
Well, and I do the parent drop off. So now everybody's bringing their kids and it's like this entire slew of cars. But we'll get through it.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like my husband and I were talking about this. Once we transition into one school, all that's going to change again for the elementary. So
Yeah.
hopefully it changes in a good way and helps to smooth things better.
Well, we did hear that one bus didn't know when they went to Southeast. And I was like, well, they were in for a surprise if they drove by.
All right. So I think we're all here. So I think we're good to jump in. And hi, Sarah, how's it going? Oh,
Good. Well, we'll make this an exciting meeting to keep Sarah awake. Don't worry. Actually, I think it will be exciting with the festival coming up. This is gonna be a good
I
one.
am exhausted. I'm sorry.
I know, that's
I'm
okay. Are
sorry.
you feeling better?
Yes, thankfully, finally. That was the weirdest of weird things that has happened. I don't even know. I had an ear infection, for anybody that didn't know, and it spread to the bones in my face, which is like very rare, but of course, just the Dufresne luck have it. So yeah, happened for like 3-ish weeks, but I'm finally on the mend. I'm feeling better, but I'm exhausted and
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was possible. So you just unleashed a new fear for me. Great.
unleashed new fear. Yep, it right in there. But we're good.
Good.
And,
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. So after that, we will call this meeting to order. Were there any public comments? No. Great. We don't have to review minutes?
no, at this point of the year, generally, I'm asked, in our office, I'm asked to hold off on minutes until after the festival. So
Got it.
at the start of next year, basically in January, there will be several sets of minutes that you'll
Okay.
approve then.
Perfect. So Denise, do you want to jump into the staff update?
Absolutely. All right. So we, similar to last time, we are full on booths. We have had a few changes, but we've also had people who contacted us late and I was able to fill them in. The one change that just happened today, we are going to sneak in another food booth out on Royce Circle. Essentially, the drama club at EO contacted and asked about doing a bake sale. And so I worked with the Eastern Highlands to make sure we knew exactly how that would work for them. And so they're going to move forward. That just happened today. Otherwise, booths are pretty much the same as last meeting.
I have a
for-
question about the food booth. So is this is all like pre-wrap stuff?
Yes, unfortunately, because it's a bake sale that they're signing up now, so they're not going to be a certified food booth. So they will have to have everything individually wrapped,
Okay.
unfortunately. Any other questions? Okay, cool. For entertainment, I'm going to do kind of a quick rundown. I know this is in the schedule, but so to give you a sense of the main stage, this year we're starting off with 2 programs by EO. So, Kathleen says she's sorry she can't be with us, but I'm going to review what we have for the main stage. We're beginning the day with EO Smith Drumline, followed by a performance by the EO Smith Choirs, who are performing at oh goodness, in New York City. It's at Carnegie Hall in New York City. So they are doing some fundraising of their own for that trip later this year. But so we're excited to work with them and highlight the choirs this year. So then following that, we have the puppet pageant by the Ballard, which they will be having the puppet building workshop this weekend. So if you are in the community and would like to build puppets, that is happening this weekend. Following the puppet pageant, we're having an interactive swing dance performance with Yukon Swing and Blues. And then following so overall the progression, so we started with EO, then we're going into Yukon with the puppet pageant. So following Swing and Blues, there will be a performance by the Yukon Jazz Quartet. So that's kind of our Yukon portion. And then transitioning from Yukon, we're having at 5 o'clock a performance by Braden Sunshine, who is a former Yukon student, sang with one of the a cappella ensembles and was a contestant on The Voice. So we're very excited to have him perform. And then that will bring us to 6 o'clock. There's a little break to change out the stage, and then our headliners, Argonaut and Wasp. So that is the main stage. Over on the Kids Zone stage, we're starting out the day with a performance by Mansfield Academy of Dance. I'm not certain how many students they're going to have. I'm sort of working on confirming that detail. But then at 2:30, we're going to have the Kidsville Cuckoo Review, which if you know Bruce John, he's had some health issues, so it will be a slightly different configuration of the ensemble, but we're excited that they are still going to be performing with us. And lots of thoughts to Bruce that he continues healing. So following that, we're having our first performance by Pete Haddad's Magic and Illusion. Then we're having, and this is new, we're excited. I've been working with Emily to confirm one of the Yukon students has a wonderful program called An Hour of Clown. And so that's going to be on the Kidsville stage, or the Kids Zone stage. And then wrapping up the day with a second performance by Pete Haddad. So that's the Kids Zone stage. Over at the Craft Corner stage, we're starting off the day with a cooking demo by Yukon at 2:30. Then I'm still hoping to get an a cappella choir in between, but then we have a second cooking demo at 3:30, and then we currently have 2 a cappella choirs, Ruby Fruit and Notes Over Stores. So I'm still hoping to get a few more a cappella ensembles, but that's in the process. So that's where we are for entertainment. Any questions? Awesome. I'm sorry. I know I'm going so fast. Just feel free to jump in if you do have a question.
I will say,
So-
Denise, that I'm working with a couple puppet art students to maybe have some large parading puppets from Puppet Arts around. So I'll follow up with you on that, because I think I have a few names and Puppet Arts are willing to lend some puppets.
Fantastic. That's right. And we discussed that this weekend. So that's great that
Yep.
that's moving forward. There's also, I'll put it out there, there is the potential at last week's Yukon Involvement Fair. I met a stilt walker who was there at the fair, who is a Yukon student. So I've reached out to this potential stilt walker, but it is not confirmed yet. For the Scarecrow Contest, we've had 2 applications. So we are going to still move forward calling it a contest. Hopefully we get a few more applicants because they're not technically due until Friday. So there is still time for people to sign up. For this first year, I would love to have 4 if we could get to 4, but if we only have 2, that will make the best of it. And that'll be, just like we discussed, voting will be at the Mansfield Downtown Partnership booth. So that's where we are for the Scarecrow Contest. I didn't put it on here, but unfortunately, Johnny Walker is not available this year. I think we might have discussed this at our last meeting. And so I have purchased some additional lawn games for the Mansfield Downtown Partnership, and we'll be setting up sort of an interactive game area on Wilbur Crossway. And that's something we'll sort of be loosely monitoring. We're not going to be firmly facilitating the games, but just keeping an eye, making sure things are not getting crazy there. But that's all of the staff updates I have at this time.
Awesome. Are you still looking for help with that game area? I made an announcement at the last board meeting looking for volunteers, but I know you're kind of loosely keeping an eye on it, but are we still looking for any assistance?
If we can get anyone specifically to help there, yes. But
Okay.
if not, it's in
It's okay.
a sight line of the HQ booth. And so I think
Okay.
it's something that we can monitor that way.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So review event schedule. Did we kind of check that one off too?
Yes, in regards to the event schedule, the big question I have, so one of the things that I've done is kind of take a look at the team that we have for the committee and the area captains, and I've sort of divided people up into shifts. Just so this is going back to one of the comments from 2019 was just that we were asking people to stay. It was too long of a commitment for our area captains and committee members. So I've sort of divided it into 2 shifts, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. to 9:30. So it's basically set up through booth breakdown or festival opening through cleanup. Those are kind of the 2 large time frames. I wanted to ask everybody's preference for which time you'd like to work. I know I had kind of I have an idea of how we could divide it, but I did want to just check with you guys which you'd prefer. So feel free to jump in on whether you'd rather
I
do the
prefer
early or the
morning.
late shift.
Setup.
So Louis was set up.
I also prefer the 10 a.m.
I'm in sleep before the band starts playing.
Okay.
I'm the same
that
with
was-
my little guy. I like to be home.
Okay, so Sarah for setup.
Well, I'm there setting up. I mean, you know, I'm breaking down at 6, so
Yes.
not emotionally, but, although maybe, but
Hopefully not. But no, so yeah, I
yeah.
know. So your schedule is a little bit different, Jenny.
I'm just there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and like I
Yeah.
said, we have a lot of hands.
Yeah.
And I've been sending out the confirmations today. So I have basically the final list of low waste volunteers. So I will get that to you first thing
Okay.
tomorrow morning.
Great.
For anyone, for Andrea and Sarah, if you've today been, if you happen to look at that Excel file, the shared file, I've started highlighting it. That's just my notes for who I've contacted. So don't worry about that. From our team, is there anyone, I know, so I'll be here basically for both ends of the shift. So I don't mind, but is there anyone that from our team that we might be able to put in the later, the second shift?
Denise, I kind of just assumed I would be there all day with you, so you can kind of use me as you want, but I mean, I know I'll be at the headquarter booth, but I'm happy to stick around and kind of help with transitioning to the performances and cleanup.
Yeah, and I can stay probably till, be there in the morning, but probably stay till about 4-ish, 4:30-ish. I need to be on the western side of Connecticut by 8:30 at night.
Okay.
So I can tap into the later shift. If that
Well,
helps.
that's okay. I mean, if you're going to be driving to another event, we don't, I never want to like push people too hard. So if you're going to come help set up, I would say maybe when the festival opens at 2, that might be a good time to give you a little bumper between. That's
but-
okay. So I'll take a look at, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but we need to set up the booth and everything like that earlier, right? Because I'll be decorating
Yes.
and everything. So I'll be there as early as you need me. I'm happy to do that, but just by like 4:30-ish. I didn't even, just now I got my calendar and I didn't even realize I would be, it's a hockey game for my son and I didn't realize that we were away, and that far away, no less.
No, so no worries, no worries. So, and this is great. So we do have a few other area captains. So I'll sort of take a look and I think I'll sort of balance things to make sure that we have some help for cleanup. The bulk of the logistical coordination does happen in the morning. So it is better to have more hands at the start than at the end of the day. So this is no problem. So what I'll do, sort of based on what we just talked about, sort of put together a schedule, just so that we all know kind of loosely the timeframes of when we'll be there. And then one of the things that I like to do, this did not work out last year, but I am going to try again, is just scheduling everyone with sort of like a lunch break and then a quick 15-minute break. I think it's just good practice. I think it's what we all will need on that day. So that'll be going out to everyone as well, sort of that, so that you can see, this is loosely my break time. If things change during the day, that's fine, but I want to make sure that we're all taking care of ourselves as well. So related to the schedule, and this kind of ties into, I know almost all of us are on, I've been working sort of with the area captain group to schedule a meeting. We're going to be meeting sort of the Friday before. So one of the things in regards to the schedule of the day and thinking about sort of all of us, basically, Sarah, I was going to say, can you talk us through, so you put together this great file where it divides up the volunteer tasks to an area captain checklist so that the area captains can see kind of what needs to happen when in a kind of more of a timeline format.
Sure. Can you share that? Can you screen share that? Because I don't
Yeah,
have that
yep.
on my home computer, but I'd be happy to walk everyone through it. So this kind of came about because last year, I feel like everybody was asking, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And everybody was trying to find Denise to say, Denise, what do you need us to do? So what I did is I broke it down. So every area captain's going to get this on a clipboard. And I think the best plan of action with these volunteers is to kind of do what we figured worked best last year was once they start coming in and we get these mob of people, they get assigned a letter. That letter corresponds to their area, and then each area captain is in charge of that area. So what would happen is each area captain then gets this checklist. The AM right there is because there's so much to do kind of before tasks that the area captain's making sure to help with. They're going to assist with the it says my internet's unstable. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, no, it's okay. We can still hear you.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to yell at my teen to get off. I'll text him to get off of his computer because I'm sure that that's part of it. Hold on. All right. So basically the top part is just kind of an overall gist of how the morning will go. Set up HQ booth. The volunteers will arrive. Number one, make sure all volunteers know where the HQ booth is. That's huge. I want to say it's probably the number one question that people ask throughout the entire day. And then it kind of gets into how many people right away. We need people monitoring that festival entrance, providing the site directions and general info. We need volunteers to monitor the road barriers and the exit sites. So right away, those are things that as volunteers show up, we can just delegate those tasks one by one. We don't need anybody to tell us how to do that. We just do it. Now, each area captain at this point should still kind of be in that general HQ area. So those 4, 3, 6, and 4 will kind of be delegated all together. This is kind of before you go off into your own designated area. The low waste volunteers arrive at 12. So all of those volunteers, we're just going to send right to Ginny. Ginny then will kind of take over assigning them to their stations, and then they're to monitor those stations throughout the day. If you ever see them, just remind them this is your job. And then the setup and decorate, that's for the booths, the kids own the craft corner. So this top portion is just to give area captains an overall gist of what's going to happen when those volunteers first arrive. Below that is the actual individual volunteer tasks. So these are things that per your section, you will start checking off. So if you're area captain for section A, you're going to make sure tables and chairs go out to your area, that you're distributing benches, that you're distributing tents as needed. Anybody who's like still looking for something to do, send them over to Dog Lane to set up dining areas. So all of this will stay there, but it's just a list of tasks that anytime you see a volunteer is like, what can I do? There it is, plain as day, it's right there. If you look at the end of this checklist, it gets into Denise's really awesome, more descriptive list of like the actual very, very specifics as to where that stuff goes. It's on the last like few pages. So see, it will say like, if you need further instruction, so distribute tables and chairs, this that tells you on this list where they come from. They come from the garage storage. So that would just be like, if someone was needing further clarification, all that stuff is still attached on this clipboard that the area captains will get. Then they can then use that checklist to disseminate tasks. And then if there is a question, I kind of put it to go through a hierarchy of like, ask the area captain, ask the HQ booth, and if all else fails, we find Denise. But to kind of triage in a separate way, instead of everybody just saying, go look for Denise, go look for Denise.
Sarah, this is awesome. And I really like the way that you divided it up. I think it actually is going to be really, really helpful sort of on the day of the event. I'm wondering, are you comfortable if before our meeting next Friday, if I just kind of divide up the area captains so in advance people know if they're A, B, or C?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that like, you know, as far as now from this point forward, you know, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm still going to help you with volunteers, but I think that now that it's more of a set thing in motion, it's more of a collective effort anyway. I think, yeah, you have a better idea to how to, you know, label the area captains as they should and blah, blah, blah. But I think that this just, from what I saw last year, I think this makes more sense because even an area captain that's never done it before can look at this list and be like, okay, I can tell volunteers to do this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one of the things, and I'll make a note on here for the copies that, because I'll have, besides everybody getting this digitally to the area captain group, I'll have printed copies on clipboards for the day of the event. But just because, to try and minimize confusion, I'm going to be the person with the volunteers at the garage storage, helping to distribute the tables and chairs so that they just because it is complicated. They come from different sources, they go to various, so I'm going to try and help smooth that out by just being that point person with the volunteers for tables and chairs.
I think this is looking great and really makes a lot of sense for each of the areas. Do they have the same kind of tasks, I guess, that second page, or would you have specific lists for like area captain C or D? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I did keep it mostly, this is all the same based on that master list that Denise had. We could obviously for like the area where the Yukon cooking show is, add a specific thing in there to help them break down or help them set up. I did put in there, check in with your booths in your section frequently, because I think that's another thing. As long as you have someone kind of walking around, are you good? Do you need anything?
Mm-hmm.
Any types of those things that come up will can get addressed, because then at that moment, if like the Yukon cooking demo is over, someone's like, hey, how you doing? They're like, oh, good, we're going to start carrying this stuff back. Great. Then you grab the volunteers assigned to that area and you start to dismantle the cooking demo.
Yeah,
So it's kind of broad in the sense that it can be for every section, but specific enough to where you won't have people being like, what do I need to do?
that's great. This is really exciting.
Yeah, I think this is really, I think it's going to help. And I think it's really going to sort of help with the organization on the morning of the event, which is always helpful so that nobody gets stressed out. So that gets us through. I know that was sort of combined 4 and 5. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing your job, Emily.
No, you're moving us along. So I think that is a pretty good overview of the area captains. Do we have any headquarter plans that need to be discussed, or is that just kind of the same thing we're going to look and discuss on that at that meeting next Friday?
Yeah, I think I actually might try and do a slightly separate meeting because we have a few extra volunteers that are just going to be at that booth
Got
with
it.
you throughout the day. So I think I'm going to do that separately, Emily, just you and me and that team. So that it's less people, so that it doesn't, because so people only get the information that they need.
Sure.
Like,
That makes sense.
hopefully. We'll
Great.
sort of see how that goes.
So next on to review supply needs.
So this is kind of more of a question for everybody. I know I included the supply list. Really the things that I'm really, I tried to highlight, I think I highlighted more than I needed to, but so some of the things that I'm looking for some help with to see if we can borrow for the event instead of purchasing for festival supplies are mason jars or vases for flowers, a hand truck, and tablecloths. Those are sort of the things that I'm putting together for the dining area. And then the hand truck is something we always, it just helps in moving stuff around.
You are welcome to borrow the Ballard Institute's hand truck. We probably
How
have a
many,
couple. Go ahead.
how many mason jars did you need
Yeah.
and what size?
Well, I think it depends on kind of what you have. So we have 6-foot tables. So I thought maybe 2 per table there. So that gets us to, or if we don't have that many, it's fine. That's 12. And then we have 10 4-foot tables. So that's up, we're at about 22 loosely.
And that can be vases or mason jars.
Yeah, and I think we can mix and match. So I'm gonna be
Okay.
getting flowers for those. And I can get jars if we don't have them, like it's not a big deal. I can go to a few different stores and get us some, but because we have limited storage, I thought it would be easier to see if we could borrow them before I bought them.
I know I have a few in the Ballard Institute, and Ballard Institute has a few that I could probably have you borrow. I can also
We
kind of ask
have
around.
a bunch in our office. They're just not the pint. They're like, or quart size. They're like smaller. They're probably a pint size.
And I have some I can
And I don't
bring.
know if those would be too small, but we definitely have like 36 of them and they'd all be matching. They're all the same size. They're smaller, not bigger.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. Yeah, if
Okay.
you don't mind, if we could borrow those, that would be
No.
great.
They're yours. They're still in the box. They're brand new. You can give them back to us when you're done. We'll use them for a project, but for flowers, they're yours.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
And if Katie's watching this, Katie, I'll deliver and pick them up.
I can also drive over to town hall. I have a different car, so I have more space than my previous car. So in regards to tablecloths, again, this is something that I can coordinate. I can either rent these from a party company or kind of put together. I'd rather use reusable tablecloths than paper or plastic if possible, just because I think it ties into or.
Send Sarah Taylor a message from Senior Center. They have enough tablecloths to do all of the tables there, and they have a washing machine that they can wash them there. So that might be a really good option.
Yeah, thank you. I will check in with her. All right. I think that actually covered everything kind of that was for the supply list. I think we're good.
Great.
Did you want an extra hand truck?
Yeah, I think the more that we have, the better, because we always end up on the day, just as we're carting things around, it's easier to have more if they're available.
Okay, yeah, we have one like at my house and I'll throw it in my car and get that to you with the mason jars. There we go.
Thank you. That
Do we
is
want to
awesome.
move
Thank-
on to the A-frame locations?
So one of the things that the committee has helped us with previously is putting out these sort of A-frames that promote the festival. It's just basically a on either side of the A-frame, it's a general marketing sort of poster that says Celebrate Mansfield Festival Saturday 2 to 8 p.m. So the key is they can't go out until after this Saturday. So there's just no confusion. If we put them out too early, then there's too many Saturdays that it could be. So this is something where I know I can put out no problem the one on the Betsy Patterson Square and the town hall. But here, I'm going to share my screen again. This might start getting confusing looking. My apologies. Are out of these other locations, is there anyone that can help deliver an A-frame?
I could set up at the library.
Thank you, Jenny.
And also Route 195 and Route 89.
I could probably get the Four Corners at CVS and the Yukon Bookstore campus location, as long as that one is approved. And
Yes, so my apologies. Yes, we do have we got an email with approval for that one.
great. And then just when, I know we'll finish, but when would you like, when can we pick them up from your office, and when would you like them up on location?
Yeah, so I'll have them available. I mean, I can have them ready to go anytime this week. I just have to put the signs in the A-frames themselves. So if you want to coordinate with me a time for pickup, it might be better to do it individually than to say kind of a larger time. Like instead of saying this one specific time, if we just individually.
Perfect.
And then for as far as putting them out, Sunday or Monday would be great.
Okay, I can do Vinton School.
Okay, thank you. And we did actually, I'm sorry, yeah, that just got funky looking as I was writing. Just to because of the complications with parent pickup, this was sort of my thought was that we wouldn't do Vinton this year. What do you think? I know you're there.
Well, if I put it like on the front lawn towards like the Route 32, that's not going to interfere with anything with parent pickup.
No, and parent pickup, Denise, from last week to this week is like a whole new ballgame. It is like a
Yeah.
smooth sailing machine. You're in and
Yeah.
out. You get your kid and you out.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can do number 6, Denise.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I was
or
gonna
I could
say,
do
Emily-
it too. I
Well, and also,
go by there
I
every
also-
day, Emily.
okay, and Christine also offered to help. I know she
Yeah.
couldn't be here tonight, so if we want, I could also assign one of these for Christine to help us with.
Hello.
I think that
Yes,
makes sense,
hello.
Denise.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
I
do
feel
that.
like Sarah's got a lot to do already.
Hi.
Yeah,
Okay, wonderful.
all right.
Beautiful.
Um,
I'll probably come tomorrow and grab that. Thank you so much, you guys. You
I
too, bye-bye.
have 4 of those signs, Denise, at the Ballard Institute. So I don't know if it's easier to have some people come and pick them up there, or if you want me to bring them back to your office.
Actually, the ones at the Ballard can stay. We're going to make those into, so the day of the event, we also use A-frames for maps and schedules kind of around the site. So
Great.
those 4, I thought,
They're already there.
again, this is,
Perfect.
I think simplicity, we'll just on the day of the event, pull them out, change the signs and.
Okay. So then the last thing is discuss booth meeting on September 21st.
No, Daddy's come home. We're gonna go out to dinner, remember?
Yeah, so the booth meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, September 21st at 7.
Mhm.
The only thing kind of, I have no problem running the meeting. I think I've kind of got it down.
Mhm.
It's because I had to do it 3 times last year because we had different sessions. I've got it down to kind
I'll
of
be
a
home in a
science
minute
and how
now.
to quickly go through the information. But this year, because we're having everyone come at once, setting up chairs and breaking down chairs is just going to take a few moments. So if anyone is free that night and you'd like to come to the meeting, it would be great, first off, for the booth to meet you guys, sort of to get a face to a name. So if you're available, that would be great. And then to just help with some chairs. If you're not available, no worries. Like, it's not a big deal.
I can be there. What time would you want to arrive for the 7 p.m. meeting?
I think like 6:30 would be great. Last year we had people that showed up about 15 minutes early for the meeting.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Thank you guys so much. I realize I have one more question that I didn't put on
Okay,
this
good.
agenda.
I was about to say this
What-
meeting was going to end too quickly, Denise. We gotta come on.
I think this will be easy. Just so we don't have to sort of say them out loud on the recorded meeting. If you guys want to just shoot me a quick email with your shirt size that you'd like. I did get 2 different color shirts. So we have, I think here, I'll pull up the file just to make sure I get this right. So the general volunteers are in yellow and the committee and area captains are in green. So we'll be separated so people can kind of tell us apart, but both colors are bright, so we'll stand out in the crowd.
That's awesome. Great. So is there anything else? It's the last meeting before the festival. Nothing? Wow. Well, I think this might be our most efficient meeting yet.
I do have a question.
ahead,
Are you sorry? Are you going to circulate the phone numbers so that we have each other's phone numbers? And I was wondering if on the list, the volunteer list, Sarah and Denise and Andrea that you had put together, if you're referring people to me, do you just want to have my cell phone number right on that list? Instead of them looking to try and find out
Sure.
where I am.
Yeah, I just realized I was unmuted. I hope you guys didn't hear me on the phone. My
We
doctor's
did.
office called. Oh, sorry. Yes, I can pick.
Well, you've
Put your cell phone
gone
number on there.
off. What did you, yeah, okay.
Cut out,
Yeah,
Sarah.
I think, Sarah, were you saying that you can, because I think between us, we definitely can put your cell number on the list. Yeah, I think that's a great
Yep,
idea.
that's what I was getting at. Yep.
Yeah, but that is a great point. So if you can send me sort of two things in an email, just shoot me what size t-shirt you would like and your cell phone for the day of the event. And I guess if you'd rather not share a cell phone, that's okay too. Just say that in the email that you'd rather not share a cell phone number with a broader group. And that's fine.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I think we can adjourn this meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? Oh my gosh, and a second. I think we got it there. Okay. So we will wrap this
I'm sorry.
meeting up. Oh, go ahead, Denise.
I just looked down. Can I ask who the first motion was?
Oh, sorry. It wasn't it Andrea and then Louis.
Okay, thank you.
And so then we'll see some of you at the area captain meeting, right? Or everyone?
Yeah, almost everybody on this
Almost
team.
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I wrapped them all in except for Ginny,
Good.
but he will be there anyway. So
Right.
we'll all be at that area captain meeting. There's
Good.
no turning back, Colby. You're one of us now.
Good. Well, so we'll see you all next Friday and then for the festival on Saturday.
Yeah,
All
can I
right.
ask one other, just since we're ending super early, if you want to shoot me just how you like your coffee or tea, just you feel free to let me know that, and you know, maybe I'll have those, not to like wink wink, but
Amazing. Okay. Well, thank you all and see you next week.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
good night.
Bye.
All
Thank you
right,
all
good
very much.
night. Bye.